Hello, welcome to the studio. We're here on Wednesday. It is now March the 5th. We're on day 2 of our series. We're here every Monday and Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this month, we're talking about vulnerability. The whole month. I just decided to do the whole month because the one thing that I realized in my life, vulnerability was the one thing that I needed to do for myself. Now, everything that we're going to talk about going forward, we're going to give some time for people to get the notification and come on in the room. Now, Team Replay, if you happen to scroll through here and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I would love for you to join us on this journey. Let me get my chat up. Okay, put do not disturb. We got housekeeping together. Remember, if you do if you do comment in the chat, remember just to be nice because we're trying to be nice over here. But if you feel like your authentic self needs to say what you need to say in order to get it moving, hey, I'm here for it. But that's where we are. So we'll give it a little bit of time for people to get the notifications so they can chime in. Hope you have your coffee, your tea, your water. I happen to have coffee and it's full of cinnamon, and I had whipped cream piled on top, but it's melted. Hi, Bernadette. How are you? I was trying to get to coming that way. March is closed, and April is filling up fast. I had a doctor's appointment today. It went well. However, y'all know I hate going to the doctor. So much so I put it on social media, and I usually don't do stuff like that, but I just like, oh, I hate it. I just can't stand it. Well, I hate making an appointment for the doctor. And then you get in 30 minutes to an hour later than what your appointment was. Because I'm the type person, I'm going to be ahead of time because I want her to do what she needs to do and move on to the next person. But evidently the people before me, they weren't that. They weren't. All right, let me get, and another thing. The wind is blowing bad, so I'm not sure how great. We're going to pray that the internet works today, because I was going to just come and so we'll see how today go, if today works out. But it is windy, it storms very much, very bad last night. Okay, so Bernadette, how are you doing today? I know it's raining there where you guys are because I talked to Portia early and she said it was storming. So I got up. The sun is out. I had to close the blinds because there was a bad glare on my laptop that's over here. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about unlocking emotions and being vulnerable. As you come into the, how do you call this? The group, the room, the studio on YouTube, hit that like button, that thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. So that way that lets the algorithm know that either you stopped through, you came through, or you stayed. And that gives me my analytics to see what I can do better, or what maybe I need to keep hanging out and doing what I'm doing. So far, everything seems to be doing good. I'm happy with the way things are going forward. It is already March the 5th, and I'm great. I set my time to show up on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I think we've only had 2 times, which wasn't my fault. It was Mr. McCoy's fault. So that's just how, yeah, God, please let the internet work. But I'm going to need to check and see because we're supposed to be getting fiber optic. But here's the thing. I told a friend earlier, I'm not complaining about anything because I reposted something on Facebook, and it was a young lady who had to walk behind 1, 2, 3, 4 caskets. And it just took my breath away. And I was like, you know what? I am not going to complain. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to breathe and I'm going to just accept whatever comes forth, right? So there's nothing. I mean, I know what it is to walk behind 2 caskets, right? Hey, Dawn. 4. One was her mother and 3 children. I didn't even dive into what happened. It didn't matter. That's her life. That's where she is right now. And it's, death is a part of life. Y'all know what I say. Death is a part of life. When we were born, we knew that we were going to have an expiration date. We just don't know when that expiration date is, right? And I'm learning to embrace the life that I have. I'm learning to embrace every that I get to take because somebody is gone. Somebody didn't get to do that. And so When we think about the internet's not working, we're not going to worry about it. If you get to see a little bit of me, we're going to be grateful for it. I do know on the replay, it's not that bad on the replay. So Team Replay, I guess, don't get what we get. So I tried to do that. Let's see. I'm having a day. Yep, 323, 10 years. Yes. So my emotions are all of, which is, and look, definitely. If y'all didn't know, Bernadette is a twin, which is why I think she did so good with me with my twins. And she's also lost her brother. And like she said, it'll be 10 years. And the grief comes around the date on the calendar comes around every year, but the grief is there every day. And sometimes I think the dates on the calendar, when their anniversary comes around or when the birthday comes around, it just kind of shines more of a spotlight on it. And that is what makes us sad. But at the same time, we are going to still try to rejoice. And I say we because I do the same thing. What was it? Sunday was a bad day. No, Saturday. I went to Montgomery Saturday. It was a bad day. And I say it was a bad day because it was a day that I just couldn't get a hold to my emotions. So I got in the car and I just drove to Montgomery. And did some things to just kind of get me in check, because that's usually what we need to do, is get ourselves in check, which is how this whole YouTube thing started, was me getting myself in check, because it was coming up on the anniversary of my son and it was coming up on their birthday. And I've been here ever since 2023. So here we are, Mondays and Wednesdays, every Monday and Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if it's not for anyone else, it's for me. So that's why when you show up, I am grateful that you show up, because I started this thing just for me. So, all right. So we're going to be talking about unlocking emotions. I wrote it down today so I didn't have to be trying to remember what I said, because I know it's all about my life, but I kind of want to stay on track. That is one thing I do know, that I'm looking at my replays. It's like you kind of got squirrelish there. And I definitely want you to know, when I put up the titles and I put up the thumbnails, I want to stay on track with what I'm supposed to be talking about. And so we're talking about unlocking emotions, right? Self. And we're talking about self. We're not talking about anyone else. I'm talking about from my place of things that Karen has had to do for herself. So that's why I call it Self-Vulnerability Continues, because it's an ongoing process. There isn't a ruler, like I have a ruler here, and you can kind of see there's a beginning and an end. So with our journey of being vulnerable, being authentic, there is no end. The end is when you're gone, you're deceased, and they're saying the ashes to ashes, dust to dust, kind of thing. So that's why I wanted to put it to say self-vulnerability continues. It is something that continues. Now today I'm going to start out like I always do. We got our FaceTime, and then we're going to go desk time, and I'm going to be vulnerable and show you some art, because my vulnerability I have really, 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 really embraced me by really doing my art and having self-conversations, trying to get through my grief. And then I just realized, you know what? You're a people pleaser. You want people to be happy. And so you have denied yourself a lot. And I've been a mother all my life, so I get it. So now I'm over here trying to figure out what we're going to do, or not trying to figure it out, but I'm over here doing all the things that right now pretty much makes me happy. And I want you to also. So we're going to talk about overcoming fears. We're going to talk about being vulnerable in order to create a deeper relationship. Now, relationships can be talking about friendships. Where I'm coming from it from my marriage. I'm coming from my friendships, and and in my art. And then being open while healing, because I'm still healing. My heart, like literally, I can never think of that name of what the diabetic doctor is, that E word. So as we were talking, and she's like, well, Karen, your body is still in trauma mode, and so it is still healing. So I had to acknowledge, like, oh yeah, I am still healing, and give myself a little grace. I pretty much want me to be like, okay, girl, let's get it going. Sometimes you got to give yourself a lot of grace. Okay, and number 4 is this is a question. Why sharing the truth is important, right? It is powerful. This is why you should share the truth. So we're going to go over all of those. But first, we're going to get over here to desk time, because y'all know I like to have desk time so that I can show you what I'm doing, not just talk about it. All right, there we go. We got what we're talking about so I can stay on track. And we're going to put it right there. Ooh, my country came out real good right there. And did. I'm excited. My sister is coming to visit this weekend. Super excited. My sister from my dad, my mom. I'm the only one my mom had. So from my daddy. Y'all remember, I told you on Monday that I'm going to be showing you some things that I'm not pleased. This is me being vulnerable in my art. Okay. Well, let me show you the order I did them in. Okay. This one was first. This one was second. And this one was third. First, second, third. Okay. My vulnerable place is, I've learned, because just to be honest, like really just to be honest, I've always been one of those type of people, is you take me as I am, or either you move on, slide to the left. I'm okay with it. I've never been a person chasing friendships. I've never been a person to want to do things to please you. But if you are a friend, once you become my friend, and family and stuff like that, that's where the people pleaser came in, because I was a mother and I didn't want my kids mad at me. Like, I had to punish them. So I didn't want them to be mad. So that's where the people pleasing came from. And I didn't realize it again until here we go. I looked at my journal. I want to say 2017, 2018. So this was even after my marriage, like after being married, because I got married in 2009. And so even then I had to, let me pull my chat up. I'd be forgetting to leave it. I leave it back. When I get to talking, I forget where it's at. All right. And so in my world, in my art world, having conversations with, like, I was in a group, Confident Canvas, and she would always be talking about, like, we had a book, she would send a book, and it'd be talking about being confident in your art and all the things. And I'm like, well, I'm just getting to the place where I'm looking at it for myself. I really didn't want nobody else to see it, right? So it was like what I was doing. Remember I told y'all, I think I had another live where the beginning stuff, some of the stuff, I threw it away because it's like, oh my goodness, that's disgusting. So I had to do what number one is, right? Overcome the fear of being seen. OMG. So you looking at my art right now is still me overcoming the fear of being seen. Even doing these live, this series, overcoming the fear of being seen. Because why? I start out being on FaceTime because I want to make sure that I'm not hiding. Like, this could be my live every single time I get on. And nobody could never see my face. I personally want to be more vulnerable, and I want to overcome that. So therefore, I had to reframe how I was going to show up. Because being seen is not about just being judged. It's about being witnessed, right? People will come on and leave stuff in your comment. And I've seen people who is on, on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and how people go in the comments. I'll be one of them people. I'll be there for the comments. I just do. Because some of the people, they just be going in and it just be like, oh my goodness, right? So that could hold you back. And if you're like listening to me and you're like, you need to overcome a fear of being seen, ask yourself why. What is the root cause to it? Like, ask yourself, where did this fear come from? And is past rejection, criticism, or belief that you're not enough, or maybe you're too much? Because like, people started judging me when I, really told all of that, or y'all, you just so bougie and stuff like that. And my grandmama always told me, it's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. And I was allowing other people's opinion, who didn't even go to our church, right, to really get to me. Now, child, please, I could care less about any of the things. But what I ain't gonna let you do is talk about my bishop. Now that I'll let him all day long, but I'm not going to let you talk about it, right? So those are the things that I had to realize, that it was past criticism, it was past stuff, and I had to put a name on it so I can reclaim my power. Now, let's move on over here. After my son has passed, I was still trying to show up and be a certain Christian because I didn't want to be what? Judged again. So this is how you got to ask yourself, identify what the root cause of it is. Now my art, I feel like I don't like these, but I feel like, look, Dawn already said those are beautiful, right? So what I say, thank you, Dawn. I accept it, and then we keep moving on. So when people start affirming, then you'll go back and you'll look at them and you'll be like, oh, well, maybe they are. Now, I do like this one kind of, but I don't have the picture that, because remember I told y'all I'm at the same time, I'm taking my art to what I call another level. So I'm trying to do more than just roses. But after I did these last night, y'all know I did this. I had to do something that made me feel like, boom, you still got it, girl. Right? And that's what I want you to do. Like, you start small with doing little simple things. Share parts of yourself in safe spaces first. I shared in my journal. And it took me like 2017, and here we are I started kind of in 23. So here we are in 25. I feel like I'm an open book. Like, I don't feel like there's anything that you can't ask me that maybe I might decide if I want to share, or maybe not. Maybe not. But these are, let's take this off. Yeah. So start small, right? Open up to trusted friends. Get your support group. This is the whole thing why I do what I do. I have a whole support group that I talk with people outside of, like, y'all think I go deeper. You think this is deep on here. You get to have more of a one-on-one conversation about what it is with you, as opposed to me sharing. I am being vulnerable over here, showing you what it looks like. And then I'm using my lane of my art. My art is like, this is better. It's okay. But this right here, if I can show you the picture, I don't have the pictures of what I was looking at. My roses are freehand. These were kind of sketched out a little bit. And then I tried to go back and do it. I like freehand. So I'm going to try these again. And I'm going to try just freehand by looking at my artwork. I'm not going to go back to the picture. So it's a class that I'm in on Skillshare. And instead of doing what I normally do, is go for my roses and perfect my roses, I've looked at my roses now and I'm like, you're happy with these roses. You have overcome the fear of your roses being seen. Like, you don't care. You can take this rose and slap it in a frame and put a price on it. That's how I've overcome the fear of my roses. Now, when we get to doing other things, I'm going to say I haven't 100% overcome, because I probably still got some stuff that maybe I wouldn't show. I'm not sure. I try to come on here on Mondays and Wednesdays and be very, very vulnerable, because I want you to know that's the only way you're going to unlock your emotions and be vulnerable with yourself. And remember, if you can't be vulnerable with yourself, then that's going to be kind of difficult. So the prayer is, Lord, help them be vulnerable with themselves first and foremost, so that in their relationships, they can be vulnerable with themselves. Now, we're going to pull out my Daniel Smith. I wanted to do my Holbein granulated watercolors, but they're still not in a book. Their 10 hasn't come. So I kind of left them over there. But we got some more watercolors, too, that I did swatch. Oh, this is my book of greatness. Have something for yourself, so that you can go back and look at it, like visually. You need to see that you took something small and you turned it into something great, and embrace the imperfection of it, right? Because I'm still embracing the imperfection of my art. And in turn, I'm circling back, asking myself, what does that look like in my personal life, right? So as a wife, I think I'm too vulnerable. I think I kind of, I'm just an open book right now. I don't worry about anything. In friendships, I think my vulnerability sometimes pushes people away, because I just say, I don't like what somebody did, or I don't like what you said, or whatever. And I think that kind of puts that fence up. And then people at some point don't know how to take me going forward. So I'm praying to kind of give it, not to not say it, because that took me into number 4, why sharing the truth is more powerful, because you do need to be liberated. And I'm not going to jump to 4 without getting through 2. So being vulnerable in order to create a deeper relationship. If your friend, husband, sister, brother, cousin can receive it, then it works out. See, these things right here, I've overcome the fear of being seen. I think they're amazing. And I know if I keep going, I'm going to feel that way about all of the new things that I tend to go step by step in learning, right? Because I wanted to learn how to do this. I learned it, y'all, and I ain't done it no more. Learn how to make roses. Roses is just my jam. Oh, I didn't finish that page. Look at, isn't that beautiful? But the first couple ones that I did like this, I probably didn't show it to you, but these, I thought they were cute. So it's going to take some time, but this is what I was getting to. These are Jasper Stardust handmade watercolors. Oh, y'all, I got my stamp. Yeah, I just told you I was wanting that stamp. So I got my stamp, and this is what I wanted it for, so I could do this. But the stamp that also came with this that said, estimate the power of a woman with a paintbrush in her hand. That's all I'm trying to say. I got a paintbrush in my hand, and I'm growing. I'm learning how to be a better person through paint. Isn't that simple? I'm learning how to grieve. I'm learning how to take my emotions. I'm practicing self-compassion. I'm stepping into my power. Oh my goodness. So number 3 is being open while healing. We already know me. Am I going to do this? No, we're not going to do this. We're not, because that's 2 pages. We're going to do 1 page. I'm going to stay on track. Today. All right, for Team Replay, got to do a commercial for Team Replay. Team Replay, if you have not, you're here, you scroll through, YouTube has given you my channel, and this is your first time here. First, thank you for being here. We on the live appreciate you for showing up on Team Replay, because without Team Replay, we wouldn't get watch time. So, but what I would like for you to do is subscribe to the channel. Maybe the time that I go live isn't the time that is conducive for you, but I would love for you to subscribe to the channel, like it, share it with someone else that maybe needs to know how to heal from grief. And grief is anything that makes your heart hurt. It's anything that brings tears to your eyes. Mine just happened to be ultimately the loss of 2 children and a granddaughter. So those are the 2 that sent me spiraling. Like, I've lost my dad, lost my uncle and my aunt, but the loss of my child, my son, really took me to a place where I didn't want to go to the place I had went with my daughter when my granddaughter passed away. So that's it. All right, back live. That was a blue. I put that in the wrong color. I was supposed to be over there, but I like that color. See, every mistake isn't a mistake. Okay. So being open while you're healing, one brushstroke at a time is how I heal. And I come on here and hopefully I show up for someone and someone feels better after hearing the story or hearing the conversation, and maybe getting some of the tools, and it gives them a better perspective on, oh yes, I got this, I can do this. Or if just to remind you, it's only for a moment that you're feeling the way you're feeling. Tomorrow's a better day. Y'all remember the song? Joy comes in the morning. It doesn't last. Trouble don't last always. And I used to sing the heck out of that until trouble came and knocked on my door. And I was like, it seemed like it's lasting always to me. Yes. Okay. So the vulnerability creates deeper relationships. You build trust. I personally think you build trust. I have a friend, 2 years ago, we didn't have a falling out. We didn't have anything like that. But I realized that there was something that was happening, and I didn't understand what was happening. And so I needed to have a conversation, but I didn't know how to approach the conversation. And so looking back on it, I did the best thing that I could have done for our relationship, because our relationship is deeper now. We've grown closer as friends. And she has expectations that I decided that I just can't meet that expectation. But I got to let her know, right? And so she knows not to expect that from me, because that's not me. So that it built trust. And so when you share openly, it makes others, I think, feel safe. Now, y'all can comment, give me your opinion on being vulnerable in a relationship. Did it give you Did it make things better? Did it make it awkward? Because I have some other friendships that it, to me, has made it awkward. We're not in the same place because I just shared my truth of not so much as a pissiness. It was just, well, hey, this is what I want. This is how I feel. And I just wanted to share. And, and hopefully, and then sometimes with my husband in our marriage, I share, and sometimes you can tell by the look or the response, it's like, that was a little hard. And then I'll come back and I'll be like, was that rough? And be like, well, it was your truth. Yeah, but just because it was my truth, maybe I could have delivered it a little better. Maybe I could have had FedEx deliver it instead of the Amazon man who throws it on the porch. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I'm saying, unlocking emotions. Most of the time, if we speak from an emotional place, we can make the other person feel attacked. And that is definitely not what I want. But when you create deeper relationships by being vulnerable, you invite authenticity, right? And that is what I want. I always want to be able to be authentic in who I am. I want true connections. Like, I've never met Dawn in person, but I feel like we have a connection. We're connected in art. We're connected here in this space. But some things that she shared in the chat and some things that she shared on the lives, I feel connected. Like, even with our husband, she said something about something on the live one day, and I didn't think about it from that space. And I was just like, right? So it gives you a deeper connection, and it destroys the illusion of being perfect, because y'all, we don't have these TV friendships. We don't. And I think a true friendship, it goes through something, just like a marriage. When you have that bestie, y'all go through some things, and and once you come back and you have the conversation with each other, you can be like, girl, you know what, I needed you to say that to me. Or, you know what, I needed you to kind of push me and slap me on the back and let me know to come back to my to myself. So that's why I think vulnerability creates a deeper relationship, because other than that, it's just an illusion. And when the hard times really hit, it's like when my son died. Bernadette Crystal got in the car and drove 12 hours to be with me when Joshua was murdered. That meant the world to me, right? So they've been with me through both of my children. Like, and the first time it was a little more convenient because we were in the same city. But then once Joshua was in Texas, it was a little different. But they got in the car and they came. Right, right, Dawn. And both of our husbands is named William. So golly, that just really, it's just really just like, So that's why I feel that is me. And this is all Karenology. This is not the counselor in me. These are my personal relationships. These are reviews of friendships that I've had, and the depth of where some of them are now and where some of them aren't. And I had to, and I want y'all to know, I grieve the loss of friendships. Like, I remember in 2016, one young lady that I considered to be a good friend, because anytime I tell you some of my good business, then I consider you a good friend. Yeah, y'all YouTube, y'all don't get everything. There's some stuff that I got some good stuff. Don't I, Bernadette? Bernadette will tell you I got some good stuff. Everything ain't meant for it. But when you get into the inner circle, you get some good stuff. You do. And when I was working like 60 hours a week, and I just didn't have friend time, right? And I'm also one of those friends that I don't want to have a friend that needs me 24/7. I'm one of those people that I don't want a friend that needs me, like they broke a fingernail and they need to talk to me, or it's 2 o'clock in the morning and they need to talk to me. If you're a mother who has lost a child, you get that kind of connection in my support group. But just to get on the phone and talk about, you broke your fingernail, and I'm going to be like, and what you want me to do? Right? I'm that girl. But but these are the things over the years I've had to learn. Like, don't just be showing up and you don't want to show up. Like, how many of you show up and you don't want to show up? And you're like, oh, but they need it, Again, that's just me. But being open in friendship, it builds strength through connection. Healing isn't meant to be done alone. So do I want the friend that can kind of pull my coattail and be like, "Now, Karen, you kind of came hard at her, and I want you to kind of, think about that." So I have people in my life that do that. Now, am I going to receive that from everybody? No, there's only certain people that I'll receive that from. Because you know why? Because I know that they have my best interest at heart, right? So that's it. So create space for growth. We want to create space for growth. Like this year, I'm working on a retreat here at the ranch because I want people to come and in a space where they can really really see. Like you get me here on YouTube, and you get me when I do the lives with the puppies, and they kind of get me over there on TikTok a little bit, but there's nothing more inviting than inviting people into your space, right? Now, y'all see how I slapped them roses down there just that quick? It took me a minute to do these. It took me a minute. I can slap roses down like it's nothing. And I am claiming that I'm going to be able to do that with those too. All right, let's see. I want to do a little trigger down there. So being open while healing is okay. Now, here's the other thing I want you to be honest with yourself. Remember, we're talking about yourself. You don't have to tell me if you're healed, but I know that there was one time in my life when I thought I was healed, and it was after my daughter, and I was showing up in the world, and I thought I was good. And when my son died, and I was going through some things, and I was just like, counselor was just like, you had that the last time. I was like, I did, and he was like, yeah. So I hadn't healed. And so all I did was carrying it. It was in my nice little Louis Vuitton luggage, and I was carrying it. What's the lady with the song with all the bags? I was the bag lady. I had some trauma in my bag. And I needed to journal that now that we opened it up, unpacked it, because I couldn't show up and be my authentic self if I had not dealt with that. And that was some serious thing. It was more so showing up, trying to be, and I'm going to say trying to be, let's say something for someone when I wasn't being something for myself. And I had that was my way of kind of hiding the pain, was to help someone else. Now that I'm helping people, I've accepted that I needed to help me first, right? I'm not a victim. And everything that I've gone through, I've accepted that it happened to me, but it's not happening to me now. That's the past. And when I talk about it now, I'm talking about it as a testimony of where I've been to someone who needs to hear it, and to someone that maybe not to affirm who I am, because God has already affirmed me. So I don't need to affirm who I am. I've already been affirmed and confirmed by God. So when you look at your story, your voice, and the presence that you have in your gift, think about it this way. The world needs your light, not my light, because the people that I talk to, they won't hear you. But the people that you talk to, they maybe won't hear me. So we all have that. We all have that place that we need to make sure that, first of all, we're being vulnerable with ourselves. This is why this all came out. I was like, God, maybe you want me to share this? And I'm just like, me, because I don't want to. Be like, this is personal. But somebody needs to know that you got to be vulnerable with yourself first. And then, and only then, can you tell somebody else, because somebody else wants some receipts. Ain't that the people still say receipts these days? And I got plenty of them. Plenty. Y'all, isn't this pretty? This is this new Dina Wakeler leisure that I got for my birthday. Buddy bought it. Sent it to me from. This is amazing. Paper doesn't matter. Okay, so that is that. So now I want to tell you how art added to being, how to add art into being vulnerable. So where I say how to add art, I want you to think about yourself, right? And say how to blank into being vulnerable. What can you do? Because art isn't everybody's jam, art isn't everybody's thing, right? But it's mine. So when I was writing this, I wrote it how I added art and how I became vulnerable. So I want you to think about it in the sense of whatever it is you do. I don't know what you do, but whatever it is you do, that's between you and God. Or if you need to figure out something, What is it that you need to figure out? Because for me, art was the one with God. And why? Because he already knew my thought process. So I needed to say it out loud. So I had to be vulnerable. And I had to really, really stand on it. And I couldn't censor myself, right? I had to let go of all expectations. I had to let go of what I thought it was going to be. I had to let go if somebody was going to say they didn't like it or whatever. And I've gotten to that place where I've let it go. And I feel like I've really let it go because why? I'm on YouTube Mondays and Wednesdays talking about it. And when I get off of here, I feel better. I feel lighter. And so God has really, really reaffirmed, Karen, we had to go through some bad places to get you here. But Karen, I'm happy you're here. And he continues to bring people into my life. I mean, I wouldn't have met Dawn if I wouldn't have been showing up over here, right? And I had to get rid of being emotional because I could really cry every single day and then be like, well, I'm sad because my son is not here. I could do that, but it's going on 6 years now. And was I going to cry for 6 years? I feel like I could. I feel like some days some days I still do cry, but I don't continue to cry because he was murdered. I cry because he's not here with maybe something that's going on in my life, or, something happily, or when his daughter was here, or, with his children. Then I feel a little sad. But ultimately, I rejoice in the fact that I know that he's okay, and I need to concentrate on healing myself and not really, really worrying about what tomorrow is going to bring, I guess you can kind of say. So, yeah. But this paper, listen, this paper, you see how these leaves, I was supposed to have been drawing the rose, but for whatever reason, the leaves came out. So red leaves, I need to look. Oh, I guess, yeah, you know what? The tree outside the window it does have not red, but this paper, y'all, this paper. And I am not trying to tell you to go get you some, but this paper is heavenly. Okay, so I like to tell stories through my art, and I like to do my art intentionally. I use different mediums and stuff like that. So if you happen to be someone and you scroll through this and you like, oh my goodness, I would like to try some of that, you can go to my website. It's in my bio, because I don't like to say I teach art, but I do like to guide you on your creative journey, because I started out slapping paint on paper with some very dark colors because that's where I was in the world. And I can say now I've learned how to get out of a funk by slapping paint on paper. And I'm grateful for it. I am very much so grateful. But that was yummy. Isn't that yummy? So, and I also experiment with different mediums. Like, yeah, I do different mediums. And for the people that's not in the art world, when I say mediums, I'm talking about watercolor is a medium. Acrylic paint is a medium. Those are the two that you would know. So yeah. And whatever it is that you choose, remember I said art is my thing, but whatever it is you choose, let it speak words. Let it speak to you in ways that words maybe can't come to you. Like I sometimes create, and it speaks volume when I'm finished with a piece. And then it's like, oh, wow, that's beautiful. It made me feel this, and this. All of a sudden the words come. Because let your art speak what words sometimes can't. Trust the feeling behind the piece and know that, you'll be okay, right? Let's see. Dawn said, oh, I want some. I've seen those ledger journals around YouTube, but yes, this paper is great. I just did it last night when I did that, and I was just like, oh, I love that. So now that I did this in red, I guess I'll make some blue roses. Okay. And let's see. Okay, what I want you to really wait. Did I do the other one? I kind of feel like I did number 4 already, because it's like sharing your truth is more powerful. It's more liberating when you share your truth. So I kind of feel like 2 and 4 go together. That friendship, family, relationship, deeper connection. feel like those kind of go together. So I don't really want to go back over that. Hold on, let me get a sip of my coffee. Hmm. Oh, that cinnamon tastes good. Um, but to recap it, let's just excuse me. Don't hide your truth. Um, like I have one of my daughters. She couldn't talk her truth. Like she couldn't tell me how she felt. She used to leave notes and letters up under the door. I still have them, as a matter of fact. Oh, I just had a moment. I just thought about where they were. I might not have them anymore. That just really made me sad real quick. Breathe out. Okay. But anyways, she used to write letters and tell me how she was feeling, or if she got in trouble, she would apologize and she would tell me why she did it. And so it used to be cute. So that's one of the things, I want you to have a voice, be liberated with the truth. The truth might hurt for a minute, but if it really frees you to have a deeper relationship, then, kind of do it. But don't spend a whole lot of time on it. I used to spend a whole lot of time in my head, because remember, the people pleaser in me want us to be happy, meaning I would deal with a dysfunctional friendship, and instead of confronting. And that wasn't good for either of us. And so, like I said, years ago, when I had a friend who, she, instead of her coming to me telling me how she felt, she didn't. She just fired me, and I didn't even know I had been fired. So when I quit my job and was like, oh, I got more time to go hang out with her, and when I text her, she's like, who is this? I was like, dang, what you mean? Like, I thought we were. She's like, nope, you wasn't there for me. This, and this. And then I thought about it and talked back to a friend that we had in common. And she's like, well, it's always a one-sidedness with her. And then I got up off my soapbox real quick. I was like, you're right. Every time we have a conversation, our conversation will sometime be like being on YouTube and nobody comments in the chat. That's kind of like how it was. And I don't like those kind. And then I don't like the kind where I'm always calling. Like, no, I don't need you to call me every day, every other day, or every week. But the only time you think about me is when you need something, or when you want to dump out your garbage can, and then it's like, oh, well, let me call Karen. She's a counselor. She'll listen to me. No. You know better. How can we move forward where you don't ever do that again? That kind of thing. Now, here's the thing. If the person takes offense to it, it's not your problem. Now, I've had to get over some things that I realized that, again, the people pleaser in me will be willing to have this kind of relationship because don't want the person to be mad. So that's why I said number 2 and number 4 person to be mad. So that's why I said number 2 and number 4 goes together. It's kind of like in Matthew where it says, oh, let me move my coffee. I was going to stick my brush in that coffee. And you tell the friend that, there's a beef or whatever, however it is, then either you're going to gain more a friend, or either the person's going to basically go on about their business because they're not going to receive you, right? So if your friend is a friend, a true friend, then y'all will be okay. That's why I was saying about the friend in 23, we had a conversation and our friendship got stronger. And so now when something happens, she'll be like, you know what? That's not you. That's me. That's on me. And I'd be like, oh, okay. But check me if I need to be checked, right? Because sometimes it could be me. Because Karen is the one that will cut you with a 2-edged sword and you be bleeding and you don't even know you've been cut. So I am still, again, working on me, because in the past I've been so passive with people and people have treated me any kind of way. I went extreme right. So instead of gingerly going there, I just like, you ain't finna treat me like crap. This is what you did. I don't like it. Move on. And we're not friends. So now I'm saying be vulnerable in order to create a deeper relationship. Go deeper with it. Why did this happen? Is there something that I could have done better so that we wouldn't have gotten to this place? And always, don't always take the blame. Because sometimes people like to cry victim when it's not even that much. It's not like that. Oh, that's pretty, right? So again, I want you to think about these things from your perspective. Don't think about someone else. Think about it from your perspective. What can you do better to unlock your emotions so that you can be self vulnerable, so you can have more self vulnerability as you continue to move forward in your healing journey, in your relationship, whatever it is. Like, I can only say I'm doing self vulnerability so that I can continue to heal in my marriage and my friendships as a mother. Those are where I am, right? So when you think about it, you're not alone. We all have something that we need to overcome. We do. We do. The question is, do you want to? And that's why I say this is all about self. It's all about self, right? It's all about taking steps to being the authentic you. And when you show up being the authentic you, let me put it this way. Y'all know y'all got that friend, right? Or that family member. When that's just how, I ain't gonna say nobody's name because I don't I don't want it to be somebody. I'm gonna use my own name. It'd be like, y'all know that's how Karen is. So, just don't even fret. That's just, y'all know that's just how she is, right? When you have those kind of friends and you're trying to do better with your life, right? And then they're showing up, that's when you put up those boundaries. That's when you got to be like, you take them in doses, right? And be like, oh Lord, just because they act a butt don't mean that I have to be their dumping ground. Because some people need approval. Some people need to, they need to be needed, and they need you to need them, right? We're not seeking validation over here. We're over here working on ourselves so that we know that we already, for one, have God approval. We have our self's approval. We don't need people's approval. We're not looking for that, right? We're not trying to be recognized for making a great choice or for having you as a friend. I'm trying to tell y'all, this is me being vulnerable with some spaces that I've been in, and I allowed this to happen. So I couldn't blame the person. I had to just be like, well, Karen, you won't do that again, right? Because it wasn't the person's fault. When you allow people to treat you any way that they want and you don't say anything, it's not their fault. So release the need for approval. Let them go. It's okay. Let them go. And in 2025, we're checking friendships anyway. We're checking relationships, right? I saw on YouTube or somewhere, it says ships are meant to be sailed. So sometime right now, it might be time for one of them ships to get to sailing. Okay? That's just it. That's just it. And don't be mad about it. So, but being authentic means showing up for your true self. Like no mask. Like you're showing up. Remember I used the analogy running up and down the street butt naked and not caring what nobody says. No mask, no fear of judgment, not trying to fit in someone else's expectation. Your journey is your journey. And when you have the self-awareness that it's all about you, you won't be worrying about acceptance, and you'll have the courage to just be. You'll be embracing your authentic self. And y'all know people ain't gonna like you, right? Ask me if I care. When I moved from Colorado and moved here, I lost friends. I lost one, a real good friend too, over some bull. But I had to grieve that relationship and move on, because God is going to bless you with someone. Everybody's not meant to be in your life all the time. But these flowers are pretty, aren't they? They is cute. So when you think about, when I thought about it, and I was like unlocking my emotions, right? When I unlocked my emotions, it made me want to be more authentic with myself. And so I didn't want to be judged or whatever. I let go of all of the people pleasing. Sometimes it kind of creeps back in because I'm a work in progress. But I embrace my imperfections first and foremost. So therefore, I wasn't expecting nobody else to judge me. When I got up in the morning and I get dressed, I could care less what somebody else says about what I put on. Why? Because I'm trying to satisfy me. Like my husband tells me, he's like, oh, you're so beautiful. I like what you have on. Or I like your hair. I was like, oh, me too. And then I say thank you. Because at first I was like, wait a minute, you don't need anybody to tell you this, 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 and this. But when they do tell you, you're just like, oh, thank you. Right? Because I woke up this morning and I told myself when I looked in the mirror, you're the best thing that God woke up today. And that's my truth. And I live it. Right? So here we go. I think we done. I don't want to put nothing else on this page. I could put some green leaves around there. Let's do a little bit. Let's take some sap green, slap a little bit of leaves on there. But if Team Replay, y'all leave some comments in there and let me know if you can, relate to some of the stuff, join the conversation. Team Live is live in effect, but Team Replay, I would love to hear your take, or if you have a place in your life that you're trying to get out of, like whatever that is, right? And that way we can continue. Or if you have something that you would like, because I am looking for topics to talk about in April, because we're going to go from being vulnerable and free and authentic, speaking and living our truth in March, to being just something to reckon with. They're just going to be like, oh my God, what the world have they gotten a hope to? We got to hope to some truth juice. And we not finna sit around here and deal with your foolishness and be like, wait a minute, you stepped on my toe, it hurt, and I just need you to know that it hurt. Now, we can still be friends, but you stepped on my shoes, these my new shoes, whatever, however you want to, think about it, your perspective. That's pretty. Okay. All right. And we always want to surround ourselves with like people. I love my art people, right? I love my art people. I can't close this. I have relationships now that are based on what I do in life. So I like people that like dogs. I like people that like art. Dawn got me over here, like her, between her and Gina K, with these cards. I've been making my cards and I'm happy about it. I'm in a good place about it because I stopped judging myself and stopped having the fear of putting it out there. So I started taking the small steps towards being bold, and I stopped comparing mine to Gina K, because I am not a Gina K. Gina K been around here a while, and I just started doing this. So those are the things that you have to do. Let go of comparing your life with somebody else's life. I think they call it like keeping up with the Joneses, right? And accept that not everyone will understand you, and keep growing. Right? Everybody is not going to understand you. And I'm okay with everybody not understanding me. I am and is. That truth juice, right? What's up? All right, we're back. FaceTime. All right, let's move desk time. But this is so pretty. Let's move this over here because I don't want to rub my arm in it. All right. I hope I said something that resonated, maybe made you think about where you are on your journey in life of being vulnerable. And if you're not being vulnerable with yourself, I challenge you to be vulnerable with yourself. I challenge you to go stand in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself. If you can't stand in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself, all I'm saying is then you need to work on vulnerability, because vulnerability is checking you first. Don't let anybody check you before you check you. And I think we listen to other people talk about us, and I'm not saying talk about us in a bad way, but critique us or give us feedback, and we can hear it from other people. But I think the best person that needs to give you feedback is you. So the best conversations I have is with myself. I wake up in the morning. Again, I get in the mirror before I put that toothpaste on that toothbrush and cut it on. I'll be like, girl, you're the best thing that God woke up this morning. And is. And when you start affirming you like that, you can go out into the world and they can call you anything they want, which they have. And I just be like, that's how you feel about yourself? Oh, I'm so bad. I feel so bad for you. Because they're not talking about you. Most of the time people are talking about themselves. Okay? So I want you to really Really, really. Think about it. Think about it. Authenticity, I want you to embrace your uniqueness, right? I really want you to not worry about if you could do something and not worry about the fear. I think that's how they say it. And you wouldn't fail. That's what it is. What would you do? All right. Have that conversation with yourself. Give yourself permission to evolve without feeling guilty. That's one of the things I had to do after Joshua died. I had to let go of the guilt because I felt like here I am again. I've lost another child. What did I do wrong? That's what I said. And so I had to let go of the guilt because I needed to evolve. I needed to move forward in my life. I needed to move forward because why? Death wasn't going to unhappen, and I wasn't going to wake up and this not be real. It's real. So you got to keep going. You got to keep growing. You got to keep evolving. And that's why I said that this was a self-vulnerability continues, because it's a journey that we are not going to end. The journey doesn't end until our eyes close and our tongue sticks to the roof of our mouth and they say time of death and give you your time of death. That's when it ends. Until then, I want you to be authentic, and I want you to really, 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 really act like you are the best thing that God woke up this morning. Self-love, right? Self-care. Do I have an empty jar? Y'all know what I said all of 24. We can't pour from empty cups. We don't have the capacity to serve someone else. So take care of you, right? The more you show up as your true self, right? The more, let me make this personal. The more I showed up for my true self, not what somebody else wanted me to show up as, the more I began to have a real conversation, first with me, and then a real conversation with someone else, right? So I'm still peeling back the layers. I'm not perfect. I haven't arrived. I'm not doing everything great and wonderful. Believe me, I am not done. God is still putting me back in the oven. I feel like I'm a piece of pottery, and he'd be like, oh, there's a flaw. Get back in there, right? But what I do know I'm what the world needs, and the world needs the real Karen McCoy, not the one that shows up because, oh, well, this is where this person wants me to be. Oh, well, this person needs me to affirm them. There was no reciprocity in some friendships, and I just really had to let it go. And so the greatest thing that I could have done for myself was just to pull back. And I'm okay with it. I am very much so okay with it. That's why I show up here on YouTube, just to encourage someone else to join me in the journey of being free. Join me in the journey of accepting that no, not everyone is for you. Join me in the journey of saying, you know what, that group of people, they don't serve me. Do that. Let's do that. I challenge you. Let's see. Dawn, what'd you say? My cup is full. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, guys, listen, where are we? Well, we're great on time today. I didn't go over. I love it. I like when I don't go over. However, but what I want you to do, team replay, this includes you. Okay. First of all, I want you to give this video, this live, a thumbs up, or this video, if you're on replay, give it a thumbs up, because again, that helps the algorithm. I am here for all the things that YouTube is doing, because I'm growing my YouTube channel. I am grateful that I went from 92 people in 24 to now we have almost 600 people. I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that you take the time to stop and listen. I'm grateful that you take the time to pause. I think I looked at the analytics, and for my lives, when I do a live, the average time, the overall average time is like 15 minutes out of, and I think an hour or maybe 50 minutes. I can't remember what it was. That made me feel good. So I'm grateful that you took the time to hang out with me on Mondays and Wednesdays, right? But what I want from you, what I would like is for you to share what are something, if you want, because we're talking about being vulnerable. So what I would like for you to share, team replay, you can also join in this, or when you get off the live, comment on under this live. What is one thing? Just one. We're only working on one thing. We're not trying to get rid of all the things, because some of the things that we have that people think are negative, it makes us who we are. My curt tone makes me who I am. I'm not the person that shows up and pacifies a situation. And I used to think it was harsh, but God keeps saying, stop trying to change you. I've called you the way that you are, and I'm okay with it now. For me to tell somebody that you need to stop, doing what you're doing because it's not serving you, I don't get mad about it. But I do come to say, if you need me to help you, I'm here. But I want you to put one thing in the comment after I finish with this live up under this video. One thing that you need to be more vulnerable about. My thing just happened to be, it's my art. Like, it's my art. I have to take a piece to give for an auction that's going to be next week. And I'm judging the heck out of every piece that I have in my studio. Every piece. And so now that I've had this conversation with you, and I'm going to just pick a piece, get in the car, and take it and deliver it. I'm just not going to overthink it, because what I may think is, oh my God, this is not great, or what somebody might maybe think it's great and wonderful and beautiful. Like Dawn said that these were beautiful. I said thank you. I'm going to receive it. They're beautiful. They are. And I'm going to stop critiquing them, right? Because I'm going to look at them and I'm going to keep them and put them in the frames and some things, and I'm going to keep telling them they're beautiful, right? So one thing that you need to be more vulnerable about in your life, that's what I want you to put, if you feel like being vulnerable. Why do I want you to do that? Because I want to be able to support you. We're here as a team. And on team, I am Karen McCoy, Slapping Paint on Paper. I want us to support each other. And the only way that we can do that is to know where you need support. And if you feel like you don't want to put it in a comment, send me an email. You can email me and we can go about it that way. It works out. All right, guys. I thank you for joining me once again. I will see you on Monday, unless I decide to pop over here again, because I'm having fun with these granulated watercolors. Oh, and then I ordered me some new ones. I got some deep South coming and all of these. So I got new stuff in the studio, and I'm enjoying playing with my new toys. Look it. These are for my art people. My art people, you get it. These are dry. I think they're dry. Yep, they're dry. The light is making them look. These are Miramar Blue. I can't wait to go to Italy and get my own palette. So y'all have a great day. I'm going to go so I can go get the dogs and let them hang out, because they've been in the doghouse today because I had a doctor's appointment and everything. And thank God everything is great. All right. See you next time. Bye.